Hello and welcome to Room for Steam. I'm Dot Cannon, host of the Over Coffee podcast, and this is a new webcast based on the Over Coffee podcast, but a little bit different. What we're celebrating here is creativity. And as we're navigating a very tough, challenging time, I'm seeing a lot of creativity that's going to get us through. My podcast is about creativity at the intersection of art and science. I'm going to be doing this web chat for a while now to share with you resources that enhance creativity, help with education, and hopefully alleviate some of the boredom as we're home, maybe even help all of us learn some new skills as I'm learning them. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 different resources. There's one for virtual meetups online with family and friends and coworkers if you feel so inclined, and 2 educational resources offered by some very cool local organizations. Let's start right off with something that's going to help you to meet up online with fellow collaborators if you would like to. Now, if you have done virtual reality in the past, you're an old pro at it, Roomy may be something with which you're already familiar, offered by Doghead Simulations in Seattle. If you have never done virtual reality before, it's very much like having a dream where everything is real. But the important part of Roomy is that Doghead Simulations is offering this for free throughout the duration of the pandemic. And what you can do with this is up to 40 people can go online in a space, meet, collaborate. With a headset on, you can actually work on something in 3D. For example, a 3D model. Let's say that I'm making a robot and you come online in Roomy and you want to put some lights on that robot, you can change that model in 3D. There is also a whiteboard on which you can write. Now, what if you do not have, for example, a headset? There's a real run on them right now, not too surprisingly. Roomy is operative with just simply a desktop, and you won't be able to do all the different capabilities with it that you could with a headset, but you can still meet up online. Let's say, for example, a family get-together for Passover or Easter happening this weekend. Can't really meet up face-to-face, but you might be able to do that up to 40 people on Roomy on your desktop and say hi to everybody. I had the opportunity on my podcast a couple weeks ago to speak to the CEO of this company, Chance, and he says the hope is for the duration of the pandemic, they're going to make this application free. And then they're hopeful that after the pandemic, some of the folks that use them might consider actually going on as paid customers. Definitely a really cool thing for this small company to be doing. Roomy, take a look at them, see what you think, see if that is something that works for you if you happen to be a teacher, if you're having a family get together sometime soon, if perhaps you are a creative who wants to work with someone else on a project and wants to get together with them and have a headset. Really an intriguing idea. Now, a second resource. The next couple I'm going to give you are going to be educational ones, but not educational like when you and I were kids and we were perfect little angels, right? When we'd hear educational toys, it'd be like, ugh, because the education got in the way of play. These 2 are really fun. There's also the consideration these days that kids online are not really turning in their homework for distance education, but perhaps the way to get them to do that is to capture their imagination. The Aquarium of the Pacific, with the start of the pandemic, started their online academy with free lessons, free video, a live webcam that lets homeschooling parents, teachers, and students see what's going on in the Honda Blue Cavern, and a great online exhibit that's interactive. I have got a page of notes here. You're going to be seeing me look down a little bit as I share with you some of what they have right now. So this week, for example, they have the Aquarium webcam resource kits for grades K through 6. These are aligned with next generation science standards, and just a couple of them are Fish for a Day that talks about how the fish adapt to marine environment. And then there's Think Like a Scientist, which teaches the kids to observe what's going on in the Honda Blue Lagoon, that big fish aquarium as you come into the main hall of the aquarium, and just observe and form hypotheses why the fish are interacting as they are. A couple of other really neat features of this one, and let's just get this up here one more time and have you get the link. They have their online exhibit, which includes a story map talking about some of the denizens of the aquarium. My favorite happened to be the Magellanic penguins, because this sounds like a soap opera. They have got all the different personalities of the penguins, including Little Flirt, and the one who really wants to have two different boyfriends at the same time. Two different male penguins are interested in her. A kind of shy penguin who just came on board, and someone else who really wants to be a leader when it's feeding time. Fascinating. But my absolute favorite with these would have to be the interactive display about the mammals of the sea. Taking a look at the title on this one, let's see. Voices in the Sea. You click on the marine mammals that are shown here, and they make the sounds that they will actually make. I am not going to ruin this for you, but if you click on the sperm whale, the sound it makes is going to be a sound that nobody would ever think a sperm whale would make. That's all I'm telling you. Check out this website, see what you think of Aquarium of the Pacific. I should also mention they have 10 years worth of lectures for us big kids that they've had in their lecture series for Aquarium of the Pacific. One more resource for homeschooling. This is both as cool as it is unexpected, because before I did my podcast, I had no idea what hockey would ever have in common with teaching science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Clearly, I didn't have half the imagination that the Anaheim Ducks have. Since 2005, they have had a program called SCORE, Scholastic Curriculum of Recreation and Education. SCORE has several different branches. They, for example, have the Captain's Challenge, which is a physical fitness challenge for kids, for students actually, K through 12, or can actually be K through high school. They also have Reading is the Goal, where hockey players come to the school and read to the students. And every year they do what they call a first flight field trip. The images you see here are from this year's first flight field trip, where not only did they put on a show, this is, by the way, all their resources for teachers are free, as is the program they're doing right now, for which you see the link on the screen, SCORE at Home. The first flight field trip was a school day's worth of activities, hands-on activities out in the Honda Center. Then they had a program around the theme of electricity, but relating electricity to what the kids would see, relating it to lighting the hockey lamp and the goal. At the top of the slide here, you see the Ducks mascot Wild Wing, who was a star of the show. And then at the bottom are the Ducks divided into 3 teams for the gathered 16,000 students who came that day in early March to be a part of their 20th first flight field trip. Before I leave this and tell you about what they're doing right now at home, if you happen to be a teacher or principal, COVID-19 will hopefully be a memory by spring of 2021, and the Ducks are starting to take names for their email list right now to find out who would like to bring their kids on this first flight field trip. Again, grades kindergarten through 3rd grade, free to local teachers. duckscore.com is the website to contact if you would like to know more about this. Which brings us to what they're doing right now. Right now, since the pandemic had started, the Ducks began to do an offshoot of their program called SCORE at Home, with free programming every week for students. This week's lessons are really pretty cool. They have a hand-eye coordination lesson of juggling, for heaven's sake. This was great. And that's with the Ducks' Ryan Miller. I really wish he'd been around when I was a kid. There was also a beneath the surface science lesson, but not science as in give you the principles and yawn. This is science as relates to the ice and why the ice works, for the ducks, what are the physical principles that make an ice rink work? And then the kids get to make and design their own ice rink. Just ingenious stuff. Science, technology, engineering, art, and math at its very best. There's also the Captain's Challenge. That's the one I mentioned before that happens during regular time and just has the kids learning physical education principles, but also building character. There's a version of that online right now that studies integrity, but also offers some exercises. Here is that PowerPoint one more time with the link for the Anaheim Ducks Score at Home program. All right, well, I've been doing a lot of talking here. Now I'd like to make a request of you. I would like to have you talk to me and tell me what you're looking for in the area of creativity. When we talk about resources for at home, when we talk about homeschooling, anything that helps anyone grow in the area of creativity and doing fun things and learning in the STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math areas. What resources are you looking for any of that? With the understanding, anything provided here is for informational purposes only. I am not a teacher, nor any kind of medical professional. By the way, if you're a medical professional, thank you. You are amazing. Ditto our grocery workers, our truck drivers, our mail carriers, anybody whom I didn't mention that's out there working right now, braving this COVID-19 pandemic. Wow, how incredible are you? This link, once again, roomforsteam@gmail.com, if my technology will just behave, there we go, is where you can email me with any questions, or here's what I'm looking for, here's what I'd like to see covered on Room for STEAM, here's what I need for homeschooling my kids, or I'm an education professional, do you have any resources like this? While there are no guarantees, I'll certainly look out there. My background is as a reporter and a broadcaster, and let's see what I can find out there that might be helpful for you. And of course, what I'm looking for are free resources. Anything that you're looking for free, everything I've named today is a free resource, and that's what I'm hoping to offer. Consequently, if you know anybody who's offering some really cool resources as well that'll be helpful to people and is not charging for them, let me know. I can check them out. Meanwhile, here it comes. You probably guessed that one of these is coming. A shameless plug. I do a podcast, as I mentioned at the beginning, called Over Coffee, about creativity at the intersection of art and science. This is the link to it, and if you have the time, I'd love to have you subscribe to my podcast. It is free. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and on our main website for my small business, Two Mavericks Multimedia, twomavericks.com, spelled creatively, TWOMAVERIX. I'd love to have you subscribe to the podcast, leave a review if you feel so inclined. It'd be good to have you on board. And one other thing, we are just about to wrap up here for today for this edition of Room for STEAM. I almost called it Over Coffee, but not quite. Room for STEAM, and I'll get used to saying that. I did want to wish you a happy Passover if you celebrate Passover, happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, and to make a mention of all the creativity I'm seeing online. We can't do what we normally do, which would be get together for big events, get together for a big family dinner. If you celebrate Easter, have the kids go for an egg hunt. But wow, at the ways people are being creative. I'm glad I can't gain any weight from seeing all the incredible pictures of matzo ball soup online. Thank you for making me hungry, anybody who celebrates Passover and put that up there. Meanwhile, for anyone who's celebrating Easter, and in our neighborhood quite a few people do, a lot of creativity in creating fun for the children. Because all of us remember celebrating Easter as kids and looking around for Easter eggs. Well, in our neighborhood, people have suggested putting up drawings of Easter eggs in the window for the kids to find, a virtual Easter egg hunt. Thought I might pass that along for you if Easter happens to be your holiday too. And some of us are probably going to be putting some cuddly stuffed bunnies up in the windows for the kids to find as well. One neighbor even painted rocks to look like Easter eggs that are going to be in her yard. Wow, it's got to be nice to be that creative. Take good care. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Thank you for observing social distancing. And here is a reminder for you. We've got a lot of heart, spirit, and creativity. We will get through this together. Thank you for listening to the first edition of Room for Steam. I'll talk to you again soon.